Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for coming this afternoon. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm Andy Bunn. I'm president of the Alumni Association this year. And this is always a fun lunch because it represents such a fantastic cross-section of people who give so much to the school in hours and time and dedication. So it's a pleasure to be able to get together and to celebrate our new inductee to the Owen Life Award, Dick Cox. So I'd like to call up to the stage a man who needs no introduction. First of all, the president of our school and a distinguished member of our Alumni Association, Jim Scott.
Dick, Maureen and I are pleased to host this on your behalf, but also to invite back to the school the former Owen Life winners. So I'm going to give 435 seniors their diploma 3 weeks from Saturday night. I went to a class meeting last week to remind them I still had their diplomas. And it's just a fabulous class. Maureen and I are a little biased because we have a child in the class, but we've seen a lot of these guys grow up. And in terms of, the graduating classes of Puno seem to reload to me. They kind of look the same, but this one is pretty distinguished academically and athletically and performing arts and impressive and diverse list of colleges. So in many ways, they reflect the excellence of the school. 40% of the state's merit scholars are members of this class. There are only 2 presidential scholars per state. Both Hawaii's presidential scholars are members of this class. 32 state championships, senior-led teams won 10 and second place in 6 others. If you've been to the performing arts in the last few weeks, it's just extraordinary in terms of dance and holoku and mayday. So it's a class that is continues to build on your legacy. So a couple things. You probably noticed that we still have Piper's Poly. We've straightened it out, but and made it bigger, so we can create more space for the first phase of grades 2 through 5. So we intend to open the first phase up this next fall. We're going to get into the ground for the next phase in the next year. Spaces that are attentive, more flexible, collaborative, arts at the center, built to the highest levels of green design. We continue to want to say to every admitted child, if you can get into Puno, we want you to come regardless of your financial circumstances. So one of my meetings this morning with Betsy Hata, just looking at that list and making sure that we're grabbing as much as we can, people who get in, but try to pencil it out financially. The Cox family has endowed scholarship, has helped financial aid over the years, and it's important for someone like Dick to have financial aid students participate fully in the life of the school. So recently he's endowed a fund through the World International Center that allows students to travel, regardless of their financial circumstances. So Dick, this past spring break, 19 Puno students were able to go overseas because of your generosity. So we want to attract and retain the best teachers possible. We want to have Puno continue to serve a greater public purpose beyond itself, mainly through its graduates, students, and through the thoughtfulness of the faculty, the thought leadership of the faculty. So people like your grandson, John Chalk, who's here today, are examples of Puno's thought leadership. So you probably noticed we've been having a birthday all year long. The senior class is ready for it to end. They're tired of being the 175th class. I was thinking, Dick, you were in college during the 100th, during the centennial. Not sure where you were at the 125th or 150th. Here for the 175th, on to the bicentennial, for you and the rest of us. But I think, what I've appreciated about the PA leadership is that the board this year has really tried to extend the reach of PAA. and become national and global. And so we've used the occasion of the 175th to just plant the Punahou flag around the world. It's great to connect them to one another, alums. It's great to connect them back to the school. But it's going to bode well for this year's senior class. I mean, future alums will benefit from the reach of the Punahou Alumni Association. So, Dick, welcome. It's a pleasure to honor you today. Andy, who do I turn this over to? Back to you. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Oh.
Thank you, Jim. I'd like to invite Pal Eldridge to come up. Pal is class of 64 and our 2013 Owen Life winner. He's going to give a blessing, and then we'll have a little lunch, and then we'll get together after lunch to chat a little bit more about Dick. Pal, come.
E puli kako. Aloha i kia koa. We're happy to be here at this gathering at Ka Punahou, the new spring. Aina o Kani o Kahumanu. We're here for a very special occasion as we honor Mr. Cox and his well-deserved selection for this year's Owen Life Award. We ask you to bless the food at this time in the hands that prepared it. And we ask you to bless those who are not with us today or no longer with us. And we say these things in Jesus' name. Everything is blessed. Amen.
Nice lunch. Some of you, I think, are still finishing up, and there's some dessert that's being passed. We want to start our program today. So thank you again for coming. It's really good to be up here. Thanks very much to Jim and Maureen for hosting us here. This is one of the nicest places to be on campus, in my opinion. Especially on days when you can hear the sound of the kids playing kind of wafting up here. It's nice for a guy downtown to come up here. So I want to recognize today, we're joined by some trustees and some former trustees. So if you'll just raise your hand when I call your name so folks can see you. Julia Siain, Eden Abbott, Mary Moraine Cook, hi Mary, Kitty Sullivan, well, Frank Damon, yes Frank, David Fairbanks, Greg Yim. Greg, you didn't wear the yellow velvet today, Greg. Oh, okay. And Warren Luke. Warren. So thank you guys for your service to the school. I'd also like to recognize and have stand the Punahou Alumni Association Board of Directors who are working very hard in this very busy year. So if you all stand and be recognized. Everybody got the memo about the shirt. Except for Mr. Abbott. I'd also like to recognize our past presidents, folks who have led the Alumni Association over the years, and to whom some of us younger presidents come back to for wisdom and guidance. If past presidents, if you would stand and please be recognized. And since this is the Owen Life Lunch, we're happy to have some Owen Life winners with us today. And so I'm going to call your name if you raise your hand to be recognized. Julia Siain, who was presented the award by Willie Stern. David Fairbanks, class of 58, presented by Lonnie Bell. Scott May, class of 56. He was presented by Lisa Lambship. Doug Kilpatrick, class of 57. He was presented by Scott Metcalf. Frank Damon, class of 44. He was presented by Mark Cam. Warren Luke, class of 62. 64. Mary Moraine Cook, class and Dennis Hirota, class of 58. I want to remind the Owen Life winners to be sure we stay afterwards for a few minutes so we can take a picture of all you guys together. The Owen Life Award honors an individual who exemplifies the ideals of service to Punahou and the community. The Owen Life Award was created in 1954 and is the Punahou Alumni Association's most prestigious award. The qualifications are the nominee must be an individual who exemplifies the ideals of service to Punahou and the community, must be living and should have attended Punahou for at least 3 years and preferably have graduated from Punahou at least 20 years ago. The nominee should be identified with continuing service to Punahou and to Hawaii, and the awardee's service to Punahou will be given much weight. And the nominee may not be the current PAA officer director. So, all you guys with the shirts, you got it. So, the Board of Directors of the Punahou Alumni Association is very pleased to present the 2016 Owen Life Award to Richard Dick Cox, class of 1938. Dick earned this distinction and deserves this award through his professional success, his passion and support for Punahou, and the numerous contributions to the people of the state of Hawaii he's made throughout his life. Hawaii's past is a part of the Cox heritage, according to one of the executive profiles that we shared with me. The Cox family, and it's a big family, with 6 children, 6 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild, is steeped in the traditions of Punahou, science, engineering, and giving back to the community. Dick was born on Maui and raised on Kauai through elementary school. Growing up on Kauai, Dick developed a love for science and engineering from his father, Joel Cox, class of 1910. He spent vacations with his father and brother in the fields of Kauai, surveying and measuring the depths of bodies of water and other scientific endeavors with his brother, Joel Cox, class of 1934. Dick and his family moved to Honolulu when he was in 8th grade, and he graduated from Punahou in the class of 1938. He received a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from the California Institute of Technology in 1942 and 1946, respectively. Dick had a long and distinguished career in scientific water and land management fields, including time as the Goldstone Rocket Range Supervisor with the California Institute of Technology, a civil engineer with the McBride Sugar Company on Kauai, and the land manager and vice president at Alexander and Baldwin in Honolulu. Dick's dedication to Punahou is well known. He is a continuous and dedicated supporter of the school through his time, his funding of scholarships, financial aid, and international travel. He established the Cox Family Endowed Financial Aid Fund. He's been heavily involved in the Lowe Center, funds a scholarship, which you heard Jim talk about earlier, for international student travel. And last year, supported student travel to China with Punahou Symphony. Dick meets often with students regarding international studies or who have just traveled to foreign countries. And he's heavily involved with the capital projects at Punahou, most recently the construction of Piper's Poly. And there's, of course, countless stories of him walking up and down Piper's Poly around campus since it's his backyard. Dick has been a dedicated supporter of the University of Hawaii. He's funded an endowment at UH's Civil and Engineering graduate program. Through his research project on water, Dick got involved with the East-West Center. He is a major supporter of the arts and education programs at the East-West Center and a supporter of the center's public diplomacy mission and member of the Friends of the East-West Center and the East-West Center Arts Ohana. Dick loves to participate in East-West Center programs and interacting with international students. He established the Richard H. and Hester V. Cox Fellowships for degree fellows and Asian Pacific Leadership Program fellows with a preference for students from Vietnam. He invites the fellowship recipients to his home every year for dinner. Dick is also dedicated to public service and the state of Hawaii. Dick is a charter member of the DLNR Commission on Water Resource Management. The Commission on Water Resource Management was created by the state legislature to fulfill the state's responsibility for our water resources. And Dick joined the commission the year it was created and served 12 years unpaid on a volunteer basis and was a significant contributor to its efforts. As a member of the commission, he helped to fulfill the state's responsibility to set policies, protect resources, define users, establish priorities, assure rights and uses, establish regulatory procedures, and all manner of ability to use and care for and steward our waters. In his role as the commission, he helped protect these resources for fishing, navigation, commerce, and agriculture. Dick is dedicated to his profession. Dick was active in the American Society of Civil Engineers, having served on the ASC Hawaii Section History and Heritage Committee. Dick assisted the Hawaii section with activities including promoting civil engineering in local grade schools, providing affordable technical seminars, providing technical assistance to government entities, supporting the University of Hawaii Student Chapter and the Hawaii Section Younger Member Forum, fundraising for scholarships, honoring individuals, and notable notable civil engineering projects in Hawaii, and supporting the civil engineering profession in the state legislature. His family is particularly, and we all are particularly proud of his work to get the East Maui irrigation system designated as a National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark. That designation goes to landmarks such as the Golden Gate Bridge and the Panama Canal, and Dick was able to secure that for the East Maui water system. He's been a member of the Cattlemen's Council as its treasurer and secretary, and a member of the Board of Water Supply. Dick actually has a personal connection with my family. He and my father, as young professionals, lived for a period of time on Maui, litigating a water rights case between plantations, a case that actually wound its way through the courts and up to the Supreme Court of the United States and lasted fully 20 years. But during this time on Maui, he lived with my two older sisters. I wasn't born yet, and my folks. And when I reported this event to my father, he said, "Dick is a wonderful guy. He knows everything about water. And in fact, he knows everything about everything." My father, that's the 51. That's as good an endorsement as you can get. So, in closing, Dick is a constant presence on campus. His near daily walks through campus, especially through the Omidyar neighborhood, are a great thing to see, a great thing to have. And I understand actually when you did your walks as a student at Punahou, you were reminded to keep putting your shoes back on. It's a true local boy at heart. Dick has been at Punahou's 125th, the 150th, and obviously the 175th. He plans on attending his 80th reunion in 2018, and of course, we're gonna go for 200. Dick was nominated by Norman Clark, class of 1962, and I'd like to ask you up to say a few words.
Thanks, Andy. He just gave my speech. I came to know Dick Cox through his oldest daughter, Mitty, sitting right over here. So after receiving an email from the Alumni Association earlier this year seeking candidates for the Owen Life Award, his name immediately came to mind, and I nominated him. I'd like to share a few stories about Dick that will explain why I did this. After graduating from Caltech, deep in World War II, he found himself making a home for his new bride, Hester, in the Mojave Desert. And as Andy said, he was testing rockets for the Navy. During this period, He participated in the founding of the Goldstone tracking station. And in fact, it's not well known, but he founded, or was one of the founders of the Navy's China Lake testing facility. Dick was born on Maui, as Andy also said, and raised on Kauai, and his first thought after the war was to return to Hawaii. And he did this by going to work for the McBride Sugar Company on Kauai as an engineer. His support for education began early. With 4 children in Eli School, he became president of the Eli School PTA, and coincidentally began to make contributions to Punahou. In 1956, he moved his family to Honolulu, where he joined Alexander and Baldwin and Mitty. His oldest daughter went into the 7th grade, to be followed with the rest of his 6 children, all of whom went through Punahou. During his years with A&B and into retirement, he used his professional experience and knowledge to make Andy's covered most of them, but I'd like to point out a couple that he may have missed. He established an award at the Honolulu Museum of Art promoting young local artists. He established the Cox Family Scholarship Fund, which benefits Punahou students. He established the Richard and Esther Cox Fellowships at the East-West Center. He established the Sam Cox Endowment at the American Friends Service Committee, and supported archaeological research conducted on Easter Island by the Bishop Museum. Dick's a man who clearly believes that a good education is the best gift that someone can give a child. Punahou has enabled his 6 children and 2 of his 6 grandchildren to earn over 20 degrees, including 10 master's degrees and 4 PhDs after attending 28 different colleges. And so it goes. His newest best friend forever is his first great-granddaughter, Frances Chong, 7 months old, who is there she is, right over there. She's here with her grandparents, John and Lydia Chong. With her great-grandfather's mentoring, she's currently warming up at a preschool in the back of Manoa for her chance at Punahou. And these are some of the reasons that I nominated Dick Cox for the Owen Life Award. Thank you, and mahalo.
Thank you, Norman. Can I ask Stan Duncan to join me on the stage here? So it's with a truly great honor that we present to Dick Cox, class of 1938, the Punahou Alumni Association Owen Life Award. Dick, come up and
You know, I was amazed just to even consider this award. And I'm still unsure as to why it came to me. But, you know, I'll tell, I don't have to say anything, what you've heard or everything about me, except Mary Cook knows very well. She and I both grew up on Kauai, on a plantation. We learned to live with all the people in the plantation. My two brothers and I were the only houses in Elieli when I lived there as a boy. Later, when I came back as engineer to there, we had that long strike in 1946 of the ILWU. And I was put in charge of seeing that there was water and electricity in all the places. And John Sanderson, who was the manager of the plantation, said, if the union gives you a bad time, just leave. But I knew every one of those people that I went down. We'd all gone to school, started school together. And I had a great time talking stories with them during that time. So I don't really need to talk about what happened. But when I went to Punahou in the 8th grade, Oscar Shepard was the principal at that time. And he taught me math, both geometry and algebra. And I always still think that that's the reason I went to Caltech, was because he got me started on mathematics in there. And on the basis of that, I want to thank everybody that's from Punahou and everybody that's here for the award and aloha. And I will say one thing about Punahou right now. The two new principals here, Emily at her academy, and Paris, Kim. I know they're good because they live on Kakela Drive with me. Below me and the other one's above me. Of course, our president over here, Jim, has been tremendous in making Punahou what I think is going to be one of the top schools in the world. Not just Hawaii, but just U.S. It's everything. Mahalo.
Thank you all for coming. Just a reminder that we're going to take some pictures with the Owen Life recipients up here and the Cox family as well. And Jim, maybe you can come up to a picture as well. And then we'll also take a picture of our board of directors on the other side. So thank you all for coming and have a good day.